Bienvenidos nuevamente a todos ustedes a este espacio entre mamás y papás. En esta ocasión, en esta entrevista, estoy muy feliz porque estoy acompañada por dos mujeres que han sido mis maestras en mi aventura personal y profesional de entender y acercarme a la disciplina positiva. En primer lugar tenemos a Jane Nelson, quien, tomando las ideas de Alfred Adler y los aportes de Rudolf Dreikurs, desarrolló lo que hoy conocemos como la filosofía de la disciplina positiva, que es una filosofía para educar a niños, niñas y adolescentes y ayudarlos a convertirse en personas competentes y felices. También tenemos con nosotros esta vez a Gina Graham, quien es una querida colega mía, quien también es una entrenadora líder certificada en disciplina positiva y que además se dedica a promover y a difundir la disciplina positiva no solamente dentro del Perú, sino también por diferentes lugares del mundo. Así que vamos a darles una cordial bienvenida. Very welcome Jane, very welcome Gina. We are very pleased, very happy, very honored to have you here with us for us to have a nice conversation about positive discipline.
Buenos días.
Buenos días. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much to both of you for being with us. This will be an opportunity for us to understand better positive discipline. And if you don't mind, I would like to start with a question.
Sí.
Yes? Last year, in 2015, Gina and me, we coincided in a World Congress for school violence. And for both of us, remember Gina, it was very astonishing how the main conferences and the people that are very well established in the knowledge of school violence and how to prevent it, really were very clear how positive discipline was the main road in order for schools to basically be in peace. So I wanted to have your opinion, regarding that.
Well, I'm very excited to hear that because I think it's true, and that the reason is that one of the main things we do in schools is we have class meetings where the children get together, and the first thing they do is learn to compliment each other. They look for the good things and they verbalize and appreciate the good things about each other. And then one of the things they do is they solve problems. So if there's a problem, they all work together, they brainstorm for solutions, and they pick one that works for everyone. And so instead of trying to lecture to children and tell them, we draw forth from them. So they start thinking about what is the problem and how can we solve it? How can we contribute to each other? And that is what creates peace in the world, when people get together and work on solutions that are respectful to everyone.
Perfect. You're very right. And I was also thinking about social-emotional competence, social-emotional skills. I was invited in February to introduce positive discipline to teachers and head of schools about positive discipline, and they were so impacted. They were so amazed by this philosophy that you created, and they were really thinking how important it was, positive discipline, to build positive school environments and also to develop social and emotional skills in children and adolescents. So how is the connection? Maybe we can be more specific in the connection between positive discipline and social emotional skills, which as parents and as educators we really want to promote in the children and adolescents that we basically make company to.
Well, that's what positive discipline does. It teaches social emotional skills. In fact, one of the things we love is getting teachers involved, like we always do, what we call the two lists, where we even ask the teachers, what kind of characteristics and life skills do you hope to influence children to learn? Not academics, but what kind of characteristics and qualities, and they make a whole list. And then we have them make a list of all the challenges they have, and we love to show them how they can use the challenges to know what kind of skills they need to teach. We could go into that a little bit more, even with example, but first, when we ask them, as you see all these characteristics and life skills, their social emotional skills. And we say, how many of you think that these are as important as academics? And they say, oh, more important. Because what good does it do if children learn all these academic skills, but they don't have social emotional skills? That's dangerous. That's not. So, but if they have the social emotional skills, then they will be more eager to learn and to use what they learn for the welfare of all, for social consciousness.
I really like your answer, Jane, and I think it's very important because the other day I was talking to a close person to me, and he was saying that in his opinion, which is very valid, we are overvaluing social emotional learning skills. And I want your answer to that, because I do not agree, but I would like an informed opinion from you. This is an opportunity to answer to something like that.
Well, of course, being an Adlerian psychologist myself, and Adler really believed that the measure of mental health is social consciousness. Social, he called it Gemeinschaftsgefühl, which is a word that he coined in German.
In German.
But it really means your concern for your social, that we are social beings, and that to contribute is the main measure of mental health. And so this is what we're trying to teach children, except that I believe they're born with it. They're born with this desire to contribute. And they're doing studies on this, research, and I love this. I wish I could remember the name. We'll have to find it. But these researchers, who they take a little 18-month-old child with their mother into a room, and the researcher is putting clothespins on a clothesline, and then he drops the clothespin, and the little 18-month-old child looks at it, he looks at the clothespin, he looks, and then he goes and picks it up and gives it to the researcher, because he sees the researcher needed help, and he helps. So then the researcher takes some books like these, and he goes over to a closet that's closed. The bookshelf is closed, has a door. He tries to put it in the bookshelf, and the little cute little 18-month-old watches him, and then first he goes over and he opens the closet door for him so he can put the books in. So it's like, since these children are born with this desire to contribute, and then too often we tell them, no, you're too little, you can't do that. We'll do it for you. We will take care of you. We tell them, do this, do that, instead of asking them, what could you do to help? For example, a very young child, asking them, what do you need to do to be ready for school on time, instead of saying, hurry up, get dressed, you're going to miss the bus, hurry up, you're going to be late. So we take all of that out of them instead of drawing forth from them how much they know and how much they can help and how much they can contribute.
They can contribute. Mm-hmm. And I would say, I don't know if you agree with me, but I would say that this kind of education will definitely help to build a very solid self-esteem. I think in this kind of way of seeing children, of being able to see their competence, their drive to help, their prosocial tendency, the will and desire to contribute, we are really helping them to become happier children.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, when we make that list, and we have parents make the list too, of what characteristics and life skills do you want for them? And sometimes when they say we want them to be happy, and we say, okay, what's going to make them happy? What's going to make them happy is if they have these skills, if they feel capable and competent and contributing. That's what creates true happiness. On the other hand, when we pamper children, we spoil them, they believe I'm happy only if you take care of me, only if you give me everything I want.
Depending on external conditions, on external agents, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that gets to what most people use is the punishment or the reward, which is all external. And that's why positive discipline does not advocate punishment or rewards. And some people say, but children love rewards. I said, yes, they love candy too. And a little bit is okay, but too much is not healthy. And so instead of giving rewards, we want to help children the reward be internal. That I feel capable, I feel competent, it feels good to contribute. And so that's what we want to keep bringing them out of them instead of punishment and rewards.
good. And I also think that one of the things that I really like the most when I introduce parents or teachers to positive discipline is the importance of understanding how the behavior of a child has, below the manifest behavior, has an emotional and a very deep-rooted need for being part of, to feel important, to feel accepted. And that's something I think as parents, and I have to include myself because I'm a mother in a transition moment, because I used to raise my children with the, I don't know, former perspective, and now I am raising them with positive discipline, with really amazing results. But I have to say that most parents, or many of us, would raise children not necessarily acknowledging this profound and deep need in children to be part of something, to be acknowledged and recognized.
Well, this is one of the big differences between positive discipline and other discipline models, is that we love to use the analogy of the iceberg, and that the tip of the iceberg is the behavior. And most people deal just with the behavior, and that's what we use punishment to change the behavior, or rewards to change the behavior. But in positive discipline and Adlerian psychology, we know that underneath, the bigger part that you can't see is the need to belong and to feel significant, to feel capable. And that when children don't believe they belong, and it doesn't matter whether it's true or not, sometimes parents will say, what do you mean they don't belong? Of course they belong. But if they don't feel they belong, because they can't do things that bigger people could do, or for whatever reason, then they, quote, misbehave. And so we understand that the reason they're misbehaving is because of a need to belong that they haven't met, so they've chosen a mistaken way. And that's why we call it mistaken goals. Like some children believe, I will belong only if I get your constant attention to me, and so we call that undue attention. Or some children believe, I belong only if I'm the boss, or if I don't let you boss me, so we call that misguided power. And some children feel hurt because they don't belong, so they hurt back. They get even, we call that the mistaken goal of revenge. Or some children that don't belong and they give up.
Perfect. It's really so important to make that difference, right? I want to make a question to Gina, because you are the main promoter.
Amazing promoter.
Amazing promoter of a positive discipline within Peru and in other places. What is your vision about parents and educators around the world now? What is your vision?
Yo creo que aquí tenemos un poco confundida la idea de lo que es disciplina. Muchas veces pensamos que disciplinar es ir corrigiendo constantemente todas las conductas, y en realidad disciplina es enseñar a los chicos una buena manera de comportarse, pero también tomando en cuenta a las demás personas. Entonces, los niños tienen muchísimo que enseñarnos, pero a veces nosotros no creemos en los niños. Y eso se repite no solamente aquí en Perú, sino también en todos los países a los que he ido, bueno, que son latinos. Tenemos exactamente el mismo modelo de crianza, y hemos pasado, no sé, de una crianza autoritaria de nuestros padres ahora a ser demasiado permisivos, y como dice Jane Nelson, no sabemos equilibrar la amabilidad y la firmeza al mismo tiempo, que es lo que promueve la disciplina positiva. No tienes por qué hacer sentir mal a un niño para poder enseñarle buenas habilidades de vida, ¿no? Entonces, eso es lo que promueve la disciplina positiva, ¿no? Es tratar de criar niños que sean capaces de poder solucionar problemas, que puedan pensar en el otro, que tengan el Gemeinschaftsgefühl, ¿no es cierto? Entonces, eso es lo que promueve, ¿no? Entonces, lo han recibido muy bien en todos los países acá. O sea, tú has visto, cada día estamos mucho más interesados, y de repente hay personas que llaman de otro nombre la disciplina positiva, ¿no? Porque nos damos cuenta que esa educación antigua de control no funciona. Entonces necesitamos que los niños puedan cooperar.
Estamos necesitados entonces de nuevos paradigmas. Excelente, Gina, muchas gracias. And then I'm going to make our last question, because time is always running for us. But our last question then, regarding what Gina said, and regarding what I as a mother feel, what would be your main suggestion for moms and dads, mothers and dads, and educators, for us to change our paradigm? Because as Gina was saying, we need to change it because we are just feeling that it doesn't work anymore, the former one. So how can we start changing?
The first thing I want to say is don't expect to be perfect. And one of Rudolf Dreikwer's most famous lectures was have the courage to be imperfect.
Beautiful.
Because sometimes people start hearing these new ideas and they make sense to them, but then they feel guilty. Oh, but I have punished my child. Oh, I maybe spoiled my child too much. It's like, okay, they'll be okay. And so we need to learn to be kinder to ourselves and not beat up on ourselves. And then we learn a skill and we might do it for a while and then we make a mistake and then we just learn to apologize to our children. So I think that we just need to be kind to ourselves as well as to our children as we learn. And it just takes time. And what helps is when you try these skills and they work, you say, oh, why is it so simple? And I know that I was one of those who was what I call a yes but learner. Well, I don't think that'll work, but I would try it. I said, oh, it works, and I feel better, and my child feels better.
And that's when the magic starts, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you very much, Gina. You are contributing to our understanding of children and adolescents so greatly. We're very grateful to you. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Joana.
Y bueno, nos vamos a tener que despedir por ahora hasta una nueva oportunidad. Muchísimas gracias a todos por su tiempo y su atención.